Remarrying after 60. What I wish someone had told me first. If you'd told me at 62 that I'd fall in love again, I might have laughed. Not because I didn't believe in love, but because I thought that part of my life was over. The dinners, the hand-holding, the quiet joy of sharing a day with someone. Those had become memories. But love, as it turns out, doesn't retire when you do. And while falling in love after 60 is tender, surprising, and deeply beautiful, I wish someone had warned me about what it also is. Complicated, layered, and sometimes lonely in ways I didn't expect. So this is what I wish someone had told me first. Before the vows, before the moving boxes, before blending a life that had been mine for so long with someone else's. Remarrying at this age isn't like it was in our 20s. It's not about merging dreams. It's about merging histories. You bring a lifetime to the table. So do they. And somehow, you must learn how to lay all of it down gently, without losing yourself in the process. It's not always romantic, but it can be real. It can be holy. It can be home. Lesson 1. The past doesn't leave, it joins you. You don't walk into a new marriage in your 60s with empty hands. You bring stories, so do they. Your past doesn't vanish. It comes with you, quietly, respectfully, but fully present. Your late spouse might not sit at the dinner table, but they still live in the way you butter your toast. Your ex might not be part of the conversation, but their echo sometimes shapes the tone of your silence. There are the small habits, how hot the coffee should be, how long the porch light stays on, and the larger, more sacred ones, how arguments are handled, how grief is honored, how love is expressed. You each carry an invisible map, a blueprint drawn over decades, how a home should feel, how a partner should speak, how a morning should begin. And no, those maps don't match. Not exactly. But this isn't about erasing yours or redrawing theirs. It's about overlaying, layering, learning. It takes humility. It takes gentleness. And often, 1,000 soft conversations that begin not with "you're wrong," but with "that's not how I've done it, but I'm willing to learn." Lesson 2. Your children may not understand. To you, this love may feel like a second spring, unexpected, tender, full of light. But to your children, it might feel like a storm. Not out of malice, not because they don't want you to be happy, but because in their hearts, your role was already written. You were the constant, the caretaker, the widowed one, the anchor that didn't sway. And now, suddenly, you are someone else too. A person in love, a partner again, a new chapter in motion, and perhaps building a new family that does not include them in the same way. They may feel surprised, or suspicious, or quietly hurt. They may question your timing, your intentions, or your clarity. They may grieve a version of you they thought they understood. This is not disloyalty, it's disorientation. You are not wrong for loving again, but this road will ask for patience. Not the kind that waits silently, but the kind that listens, gently explains, and repeats what needs to be said. This love does not replace what came before. This person is not here to erase our history. You are still my child. I am still your home. Sometimes it will take more than words, but love, when it is steady and unafraid, can slowly make room, even for those who didn't expect it. Lesson 3. Finances are emotional. They say love has nothing to do with money, but the truth is, after 60, money quietly takes a seat at the table, not because you're greedy, not because love is transactional, but because, by now, you've built a life, You've saved. You've planned. You've weathered financial storms, counted coupons, maybe even paid off a mortgage. And now, you're being asked to open that part of your world to someone new. What no one tells you is how vulnerable that feels. To say, this is what I've saved. This is what I owe. This is where I feel ashamed. This is where I don't know what I'm doing. You're not just talking about numbers. You're talking about trust, about legacy, about control, about what happens if one of you gets sick, or dies first, or simply forgets where the paperwork is. And suddenly, money becomes more than a spreadsheet. It becomes a language, one that speaks of fear, security, and how much you're willing to share. I wish someone had told me, money isn't separate from love. It's one of the ways love reveals itself. In honesty, in protection, in the quiet courage of saying, let's figure this out together. Lesson 4, you will miss your independence. No one warned me about this one. No one pulled me aside and said, even in love, you will miss yourself. Because after years, sometimes decades, of living alone, you learn to love your own company. You get used to your rhythms, your rituals, your quiet. You eat what you want. You wake when you please. You leave a book on the armrest and find it exactly where you left it. And then, suddenly, someone else is there. Their slippers on the floor, their toothbrush beside yours, their habits, their moods, their music, in your space. And yes, there's joy in it. There's laughter, warmth, togetherness. But if I'm honest, there was also grief, not for the absence of love, but for the presence of change. The quiet rituals that once felt like home now must stretch to make room for someone else. And then the guilt follows. Shouldn't I be grateful? Shouldn't I feel lucky to have found love again? I do, but I also miss my silence. I miss being the only one who determined the mood of the room. Learning to love someone without losing yourself is a sacred art. You can cherish them completely and still need to close the door sometimes. That doesn't make you selfish. It makes you real. It makes you human. Lesson 5. Love feels different, but it's no less real. There's a secret no one really tells you about falling in love after 60. It feels different, not lesser, not faded, just different. It doesn't have the fireworks, the reckless urgency, the can't sleep, can't eat, can't think kind of thrill that filled your younger days. It's quieter now, more rooted. It walks instead of runs. It lingers in the little things. A warm mug handed to you in silence, a glance across the room that says, I know you. And at first, you may wonder, is this really love? Or am I just grateful not to be alone? But then one day, you'll feel the gentle weight of their hand in yours. Not grabbing, not grasping, just there. And you'll know. You'll know that love, in its older form, doesn't ask to be loud. It asks to be true. It won't erase your past. It won't fill every space. But it will sit with you in the quiet and hold you, not like a prize, but like a home. So if it feels unfamiliar, if it arrives softly and stays patiently, don't dismiss it. It's not what love used to be. It's what love has grown into. And it's just as real, maybe even more. For a while, I thought I had to relearn everything. How to love, how to live with someone, how to trust again. But I was wrong. I wasn't starting over. I was starting forward. And that's different. You don't forget what came before. You bring it with you. Every lesson, every scar, every sacred memory. They don't weigh you down. They prepare you. Love in this season of life is not about erasing what was. It's about carrying it with reverence. and still choosing to reach for someone new. That's not forgetting. That's becoming. And here's the quiet miracle. This kind of love knows the cost. It doesn't pretend time hasn't passed. It simply says, I'm still here, and I'm still willing. You don't have to explain your love to everyone. You don't need permission to begin again. It is not selfish to remarry. It is not a betrayal to move forward. It is not foolish to believe that something beautiful can still bloom. Even now, you're not abandoning your past. You're honoring it by allowing yourself to keep living. There's a quiet bravery in that, in choosing joy when you know what loss feels like, in letting someone love you, not as a replacement, but as a companion for this next stretch of road. You're not erasing the story. You're turning the page. If you're standing at the threshold, hesitant, hopeful, unsure, I want to say this plainly. You are not too old for love. You are not too late for joy. And you are not foolish for believing that your heart still has something to give. Remarrying after 60 isn't about proving anything. It's about choosing, once more, with eyes wide open, to build something new. And if you're lucky, it will be quieter than the first time, softer, slower, but it will be steady. It will be warm. It will be true. And you'll wake up one day, maybe to the sound of coffee brewing or a shared silence that feels like music, and you'll know you didn't start over. You kept going. You chose love again. And love, my friend, chose you back.